And now, ladies and gentlemen, Skywalker.
Thank you, Jim Davis, and thanks for tuning in to Radio Memories here on November 17th, 2021. Let's get right back into it. My interview, part 2, with radio legend Bobby Ocean.
Pure imagination. I just never, that's the thing I miss the most. Because every day I got to just jump around.
Bam!
Pure infinity.
That's what I missed the most. That's what I missed the most.
Oh,
it was pure imagination. Everything was theater of the mind. Mm-hmm. We've lost that.
Well, it's not on the radio. I carry it with me every day.
We've lost that on the radio. I carry it with me as well. I carry it with me as well.
If it's been there once, it can come back if people just are smart enough to do it. It's right now, I think mainly people are looking at it going, it's bigger than me, so I can't do it. I don't own that. I think they're going to come to realize that, no, you create as you go. You can do it. You can own that time. You pick the time you want on the air, how you want to be on the air, and own the airwaves if you want to.
If you want to.
You have to focus. You have to do something with your consciousness. You can't just have it given to you anymore, like it was to me. It was given to me. I mean, I had to live up to it, but
right. So where do you go from KGB? Where's your next stop?
Next one was San Francisco. Too many of the KGB people had gone there. Jim Carson, among the more recent ones. My boss brother, my first boss brother, and but others. Dick Saint had gone there. I'm going to leave names out because that's not what I'm thinking of, the individuals, but it was like a next possible step. KHJ was still so saturated with Morgan and Steele. You just figured that, I don't know, maybe, but you don't know about things like that.
Yeah.
So next for me, San Francisco. And I was in heaven. These are days of heaven for me because it's dream come true time. You wake up in the Holiday Inn Chinatown looking down at the people doing their whatever moves they're doing all in unison, and you realize you're in San Francisco now, and this is going to be, you're going to be talking to all these people, and you look out the window from the 37th floor or something, and you see the bridge over there, and you realize, okay, this is the big time that this is that looks like it. It's an actual metropolis. And I walked the 5-6 blocks from Chinatown to 415 Bush Street and walked in, remembering walking into KGB the same way, except this time I wasn't nervous about saying my name.
Yeah.
KGB, yeah. I was going, they're expecting me. I'm Bobby Ocean. And she goes, yes, we've been waiting for you. But in San Francisco, I'm Bobby Ocean.
Right.
And it was great. I all professional to the max. I mean, they had lost more professional things by the time I got there than most agents ever have. For instance, there was a time when each jock, when you show up to do your show, you get your copybook, leather bound with your name in gold on it, and about hour by hour. So if you have the Thrifty Drug and Discount Store tag at 3:15 and another at 4:15, here's a fresh piece of copy there. Mm-hmm. Not the same old one. You don't have to put it fresh, hour by hour, right there for you. By the time I got there, you had to turn the pages and go back and forth. But it was just so screamingly professional.
So big time, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was combo before that, and that was the first time I did tech. I mean, I had Dennis Pipes tell me, don't be afraid to give me orders. That's how I work. You have to give me a command. And so I realized, okay, and we did it with fingers and buzzers, and fingers is what always is going to be the work. And they know you mind read with each other at both KFRC and KHJ.
Right.
We were one person.
Yes.
Bobby Ocean was me and that guy.
Right. You connect.
We were driving the car. It was the More Music car, and that was the driver and so on. But oh, very much so. He knows what's coming. He knows when I'm ready to give the hand. Hand's ready, but I'm not doing it yet. He just knows when he just knows when it's coming.
Right.
He knows because the hand might tell him, but also the timing, what's coming out of my mouth. He realizes I'm coming to a crescendo here. And I will have told him, I'm going to give you 3 cues. I want to hit the post of these strings. So you can't do anything about the first 2, but you can do something about the first one. Not the second 2, I'll be up to B.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I let him know. I tell him exactly what I'm going to do. And that was new for me. It was at KFRC that I learned how to work with another person. So that by the time I got to KHJ, I walked into the production room with my guy, and I had it so spelled out on paper for him that there was just no question. I go, music, here's the music, album 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Album 1, cut 3 into 32 seconds where the horn hits, and let it go until 47 where the drums hit. And I'll be talking over that portion here. And over here, it was just every little second was counted for. And they hadn't seen it done that thoroughly before. But I mean, I was very specific. I knew I wanted it a certain way. And by that time, I realized that I have to teach people what I'm doing because it seems obvious to me. I said it to you and you got it right away. I use music as punctuators.
Yeah.
There. You got a multi-track machine? Figure it out. God, it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah. And KHJ, was that really exciting, more so than KFRC? Because Los Angeles, you're coming to Los Angeles. So
at the time, it was more exciting. Each one is more exciting because that's the one that you really like, Mm-hmm. But in the climb, that was the pinnacle. Yeah. That was, you don't go any further than that. I'm not going to Chicago or New York. I've been offered and I don't go. Don't want to go because I'd be going there and save my money to come back here. I know I don't want to go. The only reason I would want to is to say I did it. Well, I kind of almost did that too, because I went there with Kegel as a production guy and he put me on immediately. He had the morning guy get sick. So suddenly I was the morning man and production guy for a couple of weeks. And we got the attention. I had, who's number one? The Zoo, Scott
Shannon.
Yeah, he called us because we had people, we were shaming him.
Yeah,
I shamed him on the air all morning long, just bam, bam, bam. We're playing it first. You won't hear it on that other station. What is it called? Animal Farm, a zoo? I don't know how they have any respect for their listeners, but they'll be saying that they'll play it, and they will after a couple of hours because they'll be taping it from us. That's why I'm talking at different parts of it. They have to cut that out, and after we got a cease and desist, but it was with a smile from
no shit.
Shannon, to cease and desist with a smile. Okay, Kegel. Okay, I got it. Okay. Have your guy knock it off.
That's funny shit.
Yeah, it was fun. So it taught me that you can do it anywhere. I could do New York, Chicago. I could be as big as I want to be, but I had picked California, and they got 2 great markets, San Francisco and L.A. And they remember Bobby Ocean. They knew he was through there. There's a lot of big names. It's hard to
the whole country,
stand out in the crowd there.
The whole country knows of Bobby Ocean. I mean, just not only for your bed of work, because you've been a promo voice on so many radio stations across the country and in other countries as well. But everybody, buys air checks. And I always thought this was terrible because I think the disc jockey should get a cut because you're actually the one who performed. But
I'll tell you the way I look at that in a minute.
Okay. But honestly, just KFRC and KHJ, everybody knows you from those radio stations.
There, you just said it. That's why I would charge for it. They're doing promotion work for me. If they're making money doing promotion work for me, that's fine. selling an air check with me on it, that's great. I couldn't ask for a better deal.
Well,
and
don't you
the
think?
fact that it costs money means it's even more respected by the collectors and the.
Yeah,
So
but don't you think you deserve a little bit of that, that income?
When I was working there at those stations, there was money involved. I got
I know
compensated.
that. Oh yeah, yeah. It's funny because I saw you had posted something on Facebook, and at KHJ there was always that emergency song. That emergency cart under the board when you guys finally started doing combo in 1977. And
my left hand knows where it is by feel, even on this desk here. It's right here. There's a little button right.
That's
in
right.
Like, bam. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. And I had posted that it was MFSB TSOP, and I had forgotten that the original song that was originally put in there was the Ventures Hawaii 5-0. And I completely, what's that?
For time.
Yes,
like
for time.
158 or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And I had completely forgotten about that. And you had posted, I believe it's the Ventures, and oh God, excellent memory. And I said the last one that Chuck Martin had put in there was MFSB TSOP, because my roommate was Pat Evans, who had to use the name first Terry Foster, and then he went to K-Hits 97, and that's where I got to know him, and because I was doing the overnight show there. And then he went back to KHJ, and they made him use the name Terry Moreno. And he ended up staying for a while on after they changed the to the country format, and ended up going off to K-Earth 101. But he had to play that emergency song, and he left me with the air check, off the KHJ skimmer, because he went in, and it happened to be the night that the LA Lakers won the the NBA championship. And so he goes into the floaters ready to talk about the LA Lakers. So he comes out, and he says, KHJ, with Terry Moreno, and, congratulations to, and he goes, I think this is the end of the song. And he goes, KHJ, where we like to give you a preview of what's coming up next. And all of a sudden, TSOP, MFSB starts, the Panic record comes right up. And we used to get off the air at pretty much as I got off the air at K-Hits at 5, and he would get off at 6. So we would end up seeing each other at the house. And he goes, you got to hear this. So he played it for me. And I said, can I keep this air check? I just got to keep it. And he goes, yeah, I had to, fricking hit the panic button today because Float On by the Floaters wasn't queued up. And it ruined my whole fricking set about the Lakers. So that's why I kept the air check. But the panic song was the emergency song at that point was, and this is shortly before they changed to country.
I think I hit it once by accident. I cannot remember it, but it seems like I did. There's a fragment of embarrassment floating around it.
And you sounded great at KHJ. KHJ was fun. And you did, not only did you do middays, you did afternoons. So you were like such a big, important factor at KHJ through so many years that, and then you left before they had changed it to country. And I was so glad that that you returned, because KHJ kind of fumbled towards the end.
Well, by then, that's the program director's job, is to direct your talent. And if they were doing that, then it says something about who is programming.
Yeah, and it's funny because that program director went to K-West. It was like a strange end to KHJ, and before they changed to country. But when Chuck Martin had taken everybody, the pretty much the solid staff to K-West 106, And I was so glad that you were a part of that. One of the greatest things is when I was at Kiss FM and we had you doing the promos at Kiss FM, I wanted you to continue doing those. And when they brought somebody else in, I said, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? You know, why? I mean, keep Bobby Ocean. Bobby Ocean is such a fucking known name, known voice in this town, in this market. You're not going to get that with, they brought in, what was his name? Well, for a while we had Mark Driscoll, which I think was the wrong voice. And we didn't stick with him for very long, but I was so sorry that and then we got a real puker for a while. I can't remember who it was, but, and then we brought in Ernie Anderson. It was really different because it was like watching Eyewitness News. But I loved when you were doing our promos at Kiss FM.
Yeah, you know, that's been a frustration all my career, is having people believe in what it is I do, which is legitimize the promos. So I have to get them to believe in their own advertising and see it again and realize I'm talking about station imagery, and they hadn't really put it in their mind yet or considered it yet.
Yeah.
It's like, it's in the commercials you play. They come from Madison Avenue. They're coming with drama and a sense of imagery. We should at least do that for our promos. And I remember that I stole the deliveries of, who's it that I stole? I did a very poor man's Rod Serling and mixed that with Rod McEwen, who had no deep voice at all, just a whisper. But it printed really well. That's where I really brought the air in and created that sound. And that worked really well. That worked universally well at all the stations I worked at. I called it the suppressed excitement delivery, where you just add a little bit more air and a little more drama. Right. And instead of seeing you, I'll see you at church social this Sunday at 12:30. I'll see you at the church social this Sunday at 12:30.
I love that. I love that. Oh man, I love that.
Well, you see what it is. It's just you put some air in the mix.
Right. Right.
And so instead of, I didn't have the pipes to say the whole word sometimes in a piece of copy, like what would the word be? Let's say it's this Thursday. Well, Van Dyke can go, this Thursday.
Yeah.
You grab the whole word.
Yeah.
My voice crumbles and hits something, you know. So I'm left where it doesn't, I go, this Thursday. So I decided, well, I'm going to make that work, because the people I'm looking at that are making it work, they just keep on talking. And really, they're not listening to their voice the way DJs do. They're listening to what it is they say.
Right.
So that's where the emphasis became. And it became pretty easy for me to say, see you this Thursday. Well, hell, 3/4 of that was air, Thursday.
Right.
You know, but people got it, they get it, you know, and I do say it, and the mic does pick it up. It's a musician's mic as well, and air instrument at that.
Right.
That's what this is, an air instrument.
Right. Right.
So I learned to make it work, and I learned to believe in it is really all it is, coming from having no belief in it whatsoever to believing in it 100%. Then I got to get all the rest of everybody to believe in it, starting with somebody like, say, Charlie Van Dyke, whose voice is just perfect the way it is.
Right.
And he never really had to spend a lot of time with attitude, because his voice always said it perfectly.
Right.
I remember having conversations with him at KHJ where I stopped trying to get drama out of him almost immediately, because we were doing two voice stuff for a long time. And so he'd be the headliner and I'd be the what's the word I'm looking for? The logistics guy. So he'd say, win the $5,000, and I would say, put it in an envelope and send it to 500 Washington Street, or whatever I'm going to say, because I'm going to say more in that little bit, and I can put inflections all over it, where his voice is beyond that.
It's just, yeah. Yeah.
He has to.
Well, it's just because what comes out of his eyewitness news, it just comes
His
out.
voice is good for the shorter words and the phrases.
Yeah.
But when he has to put in a whole address with numbers in it and an address and get it in the envelope by the end of a 7-second phrase, his voice doesn't serve him as well that way because it's so deep.
Yeah.
And what he has to do, and he hasn't really studied this as much as I have, I think, is go to the air. Even he has air. And in normal talking, he uses it, but like many of us, he has trained himself to his voice instead of to the message. And then you have to pull yourself out of that. And he's done that very successfully because look at him now. He's tremendously successful. And it's Charlie's voice they want. They want that voice. And he's got the chops for it and so on. But it does not really work with a bunch of logistical information the same way another voice would work in tandem with him. Have him do the headline, have the guy like me come in and do the logistics. Then you got a promo. It's all right there. I would usually at least donut us where he'd say, the KHJ $10,000 blah, blah. And I'd go, and what you do is you put it in an envelope and you send it off here in this way. And you too can be a winner of the, back to Van Dyke, $10,000 blah, blah. So I'd donut.
Right.
Yeah, it was really fun. We had a lot of fun because I knew what I was going to get from Charlie and I could give him his copy and have him drop by anytime he was available, usually after his show. And I might get there just when he's getting off the air. He had just left his lines for me with Bedeau or Doug. And so I'd get in there and I have the copy and he's there. I got the music. We start making our magic.
Mm-hmm. But what I find about the deeper voice guys is a lot of times people don't really lock into what they're saying. They like maybe the authoritative sound of that deep voice. But what people do is they lock into what you're saying. And I've found that more people over the years, and this is just my observation from the days of KHJ to the days of K West 106 to the days of when you were doing Kiss FM, to all of your promos, to the days when you were doing our promos at Quad 106 in Sacramento. And sometimes I would fill in, because I was trying to emulate you so much that I could actually sometimes, when we couldn't get you to do a promo, I would just kind of sneak in. And there's an air check on Cal. True. So this is a true story.
You don't have to be ashamed of that. That's
I mean, I loved you so much, and I loved how you did your promos. And there's an air check on California Air Checks with Tom Chase doing middays, and it says along with a Bobby Ocean promo, and that's me. But you were doing our promos, and that's why they mistakenly put that, because you were the voice of all of our promos.
That's a compliment to you, though.
It was a major compliment. Are you kidding? That's why I still have the air check, because it was such a major compliment to me that I was elated. As a matter of fact, I walked around for years and years and years, bragging. I was very braggadocious about this, that he mistakenly, the guy from California Air Checks mistakenly thought it was Bobby Ocean and it was me. But you had done all of those promos. But what I had noticed is that people actually heard what you were saying, heard the message in your promos. And not so much, like when I was at the Mighty 690, we had Mitch Craig, great voice, great, big voice. But at the end of the day, like girlfriends or, whoever, and because I had to cross to Mexico to do Mighty 690, but, girlfriends in San Diego would say, what are you guys giving away again? And what are you doing? Because they wouldn't really lock into what, they heard the deep voice and they heard maybe $10,000, but not the message. And the one thing that people did lock in always with your promos, like I say, from KFRC to KHJ to every station that you've done, they actually hear the message. They actually hear what you're saying.
But that's a compliment. Thank you.
No, it's true. And that's the difference. And that's what I love about your promos is people actually hear what you're saying. So whether it be the delivery or that secret sound that you have, you're getting your message across. And that's what's important, isn't it?
Oh, I think so. As I said, the guys with the deeper voices get a more of a free ride because they're beautiful. They're like pretty people in Hollywood.
Right.
And from there, we're all supposed to, once the foot's in the door, learn our craft. But the deeper voice people, who's going to tell them? Who's going to coach them? They're already there. They're prettier sounding than the program director and so on. Where guys like myself was dissatisfied with my voice. So I wanted to learn more, and learn how it works. And I learned a lot. And it gave me the thing that I like to see in you, and that's belief in yourself. Like when they thought it was me on a promo, that it was really you. That means that you've taught yourself something. That means that, well, I can do it too.
Yeah, that's why I was so excited to brag about it for so many years. And you know, this goes back to 1985, I think. So I was so excited to walk around bragging about this because they had actually thought.
Well, now you took a piece of a delivery I did, but once you've got it, you've always got it. So that might affect your delivery in other areas too, to your benefit. And help you express what it is you're trying to say. You know, here's another way, here's another level, here's another dimension. Whereas the guys with the deep voice, they're kind of stuck. They're kind of stuck in this area. And if they break the walls, that's even not attractive, you know, unless you learn how to put a crinkle in your voice to put the humor. If you don't, it just sounds awkward.
Right.
And all voices are like instruments. They have to learn how to be played.
Yes.
So I learned that at the radio stations I went to along the way, and always felt like I could hold my own with you know, Ernie Anderson. They're very flexible, but I got an Ernie Anderson story once where we both showed up at this. I guess it was a broadcasting thing for about 3 days. They wanted me to talk about promos, and I happened to be there when Ernie Anderson was there. We're on the same stage. And in the audience, I'm not going to mention the name, but it was a personality from one of the album-oriented stations. A guy shows up with a pair of earphones around his neck as a prop, you know, and he goes, "Bobby, why can't you just say it the way it is and say it like it is, man? Why can't you just be real and say it like it is? Why do you have to put this other dramatics?" And Ernie Anderson interrupted him and told him to shut the fuck up and gave him about 1 minute of, this is about promotion. This is different styles, and that's a style. And if you don't know that, you don't even belong here. With his thunderous voice, chastising that guy in the audience. I just sat there wondering, I must be in heaven. You know, Ernie and I got along really well.
What an idiot. What a moron to say something. I mean, that guy didn't belong.
That's typical of the fight that from my perspective, I've had my entire career, getting people in my own radio station to believe in their own imagery. Oftentimes they would hire the Ernie Anderson or the Mark Driscoll because they wish they had a voice like that. They can't say the callers in that mean way, but Mark can. So they put him on. They didn't realize they're driving people away, though. They didn't think about the consequences of what you're doing. What you're doing is you're gratifying yourself. That was a masturbative decision you made.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Instead of programming decision.
Right.
Now, I can understand having the big voices be solemn like that. I told you I worked with Van Dyke for years, and we did it right, where he did the headlines and I did the logistics, more or less. That's just the way we say it. But we distributed the voice work so that his stuff, he didn't have to go off and stretch himself. He could just make his pompous announcements, and he just does that so flawlessly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is true that I was in an elevator with him when he asked for the floor, and everybody in the elevator turned around. What the fuck was that?
Did you feel the vibration?
Oh yeah, yeah. The little glass seat panels are rattling. Just it was a lot of fun. So eventually, I realized my voice is okay. Then I always was dissatisfied with it, but as I got into San Diego, I learned to make it work, and it was there. I said I was going to tell you the story. I jumped from KGB to KCBQ with Buzz Bennett.
Right.
I plugged my earphones in, and they don't work in that board. The impedance doesn't work. I can't hear anything. I can hear nothing. So I grabbed a pair of Clevites or something like that, and I am able to do the show, but it didn't sound like me. I can't hear me. I had been molding my voice to the sound. I've been talking too much in response to the sound instead of to the message. So I immediately kicked into the only way it's going to work is if I just listen to the intention of what I'm going to say, because I'm listening to me try to say KCBQ 10,000 and it's not working. So I realized, okay, what am I saying? It's an amazing thing I'm saying. I'm giving away money. Fuck it. At KCBQ 10,000, my intention brings it up to a more importance. And I realize that's what I want to listen to. I just want to hear this. This is a reference now, not what I'm talking to. In fact, I can't hear me very well if I can hear you fine. And in these, I'm used to that now.
But you sound great. It's like you.
If I do, I'm glad you're saying that, because for me, I just let go of it. I quit trying to control it.
Oh, but it sounds, you sound great. It sounds just like you. You sound, to me, it's like listening to you on KHJ,
And you sound like you. My mic is over here, you can see.
Yeah. But there you go. There you go.
You sound like you. This is why I have a pop screen.
I love that. Oh, my God. What a voice. What a voice. Bobby, I know I've kept you much longer than the 30 minutes we were supposed to.
Hey, we went through a whole computer training course together before the interview.
We did. Thanks to Kevin Gershon for helping us out, too.
Oh, yeah. And my niece.
Guy. And your niece.
Yes.
Oh, God bless your niece for coming in and helping us get on the air. Bobby, I'd like to invite you to come back if you have time, because we have so much more to talk about.
Yeah, we just scratched. We didn't even scratch the surface at this time. We just started with, I think we got to come back.
We barely just scratched the surface because we have so much more to talk about. And will you come back to the show? You bet. In fact, I was thinking that we might together come up with things we're going to basically hit on. This time, the production room. This time, building a music library, from what you got there, and or whatever. That's great. Is of interest to you that we can put some flesh on and make. I can bring you what happened to me in that situation, because it's different than it looks. It looks great now because I'm still alive. I'm still functioning. I can actually walk. I don't appear quite as old as I really am. You don't look old at all. You don't look at all. And you know what? I've got so many great air checks of you, and I'd love to play some clips the next time. And I'd like to, talk about some things, not only at KHJ, but at KFRC, at KGB, and just some different things that we didn't get a chance to talk about. And I know we've dragged this out. I didn't want to keep you any longer because I know I've kept your day. Yeah, but the thing is, that's radio. When you get into it, talking about it, time flies. It does. It really does. I can't tell you how many girlfriends over the years I've had told me, "Is that all you guys ever talk about?" Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Sadly, yes, that's what we talk about. Yeah. the legend, Bobby Ocean. I want to thank you for your time, and I can't wait till we get together again and continue this conversation. And Bobby, until then, take care of yourself.
And remember that the love you take is equal to the love you make. That still holds true.
The part of Bobby Ocean was played by Valentine Jones.
That's right. That's where I had Van Dyke. He said that to the very end for me. Bless his heart.
Thank you, Bobby.
All right. See you next time.
So great to have Bobby, what a guy, Ocean, on the show. And I'm so glad he has agreed to come back. So if you ever have any questions, please send your questions to my Facebook page, and I'll be happy to ask them on your behalf because, we're going to get him back on the show. And I'm so glad he's agreed to come back on Radio Memories. Love the guy. And he's got so many great stories. Bobby, thank you for your time. Coming up next week, we have legendary programmer John Sebastian. John Sebastian will be with us here to share his radio memories.
Check out past interviews on the Radio Memories YouTube channel and on Spotify. Click the links. This is Maggie McKay for Radio Memories, a Dave Schuyler production.